Hey, it's drive time with Robin and African Payment Solutions. Good morning or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I thought I'd do something different today. We're in online payments and, digital currencies are going to be the new flavor. So we've got a little portfolio of digital currencies or crypto investments. And yesterday we spent the day just reevaluating, what we're investing in. A lot of them came through the ICO craze and have found their way back to zero, like fiat's going to do over the next few years. So I thought I'd share with you some of the criteria, some of our thinking in terms of investing and understanding where we are with these new assets that look like they're going to outperform most other. So let's start with some of the people we trust. Some of the people I watch and listen to, like Ivanontech, Balina, Tokenmetrics, Grayscale, DCG, Messaris, Delphi, Nuggets News, Datadash, and some of the Economi funds. So, that's where we spend a lot of time just observing what's going on in the market. And then we've got a live spreadsheet of our holdings, and which we keep up to date all the time. And then we're looking at how do we change the portfolio from what it was to being a little bit more relevant and produce a better return on investment. So some of the criteria: choosing the top 10, old favorites that have good track records, and some new fast movers. Then there's obviously the Bitcoin versus Ethereum debate. Bitcoin is a relatively safe haven during the bear market. The alts tend to follow Ethereum and outperform Bitcoin in a bull market. And if history is anything to go by, the Bitcoin dominance could fall. It's already fallen, I think, from roughly 80% to 60%. And Ethereum is gaining a lot of market share as a result of the massive amount of DeFi that's being built on it. I think they're streets ahead of the rest of the crowd. And the locking up of ETH for those DeFi, which kind of reduces ETH in circulation and could have an effect on the price. So our thinking is weighing up Bitcoin versus Ethereum, and then of course choosing short, medium, long term, and the percentages of each coin in our holdings, and then the different funds, where we're kind of like crypto unit trusts, kind of like Iconomi, Ember, and so on. And then obviously to have a portion of cash that we can keep in USDT or USDC to take advantage of new investments. And then thinking about the consumer, retail versus institutional investors, I think retail will come in as it runs up to $20,000 and will spike the market. They're obviously looking for sexy alts, not necessarily with good fundamentals, based on the experience of the ICO craze. And then of course you've got your family offices, who are a little less risky than consumers, but a little more risk, prepared to take more risk than the institutions. And then you've got the institutional investors who are risk averse and will probably only go for rock solid investments and invest in a sustainable way over time, which will move the market gradually in terms of momentum. So so that's a start. And then we're not traders, so we look for medium term, long term hodls. The Bitcoin halving is obviously going to affect things, so that's coming up in May, and it normally performs well on the run up to the halving, and then afterwards. The run up is obviously buy the rumor, sell the news, and then afterwards, because of the shortage of supply, the stock to flow model, it can have a bit of a pump afterwards as well for a fair time actually. And then of course Ethereum, talking about Ethereum 2.0 is coming out soon. In my opinion, they're kind of way ahead of the pack in terms of a platform, and they're solving Ethereum 2.0, if it's launched successfully, will solve a lot of the problems that ETH had that caused other alts to try and jump into the gap, like scaling. And Ethereum is currently way behind Bitcoin in terms of price appreciation. So on the one argument, it has a way to go, but perhaps on the other argument, because it's an alt, Bitcoin's quite solid, and so that's the reason for it being a little bit behind. But it has a fair bit to grow, and Ethereum will probably lead the run on the alt. So yeah, a solid project. And then, of course, taking profits, we've got to be sensible. So, you know, as these Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the alt start pumping, we've got to really consider taking profits along the way, and maybe stashing that into USDC or Bitcoin. I'd say USDC until we know exactly what the market's doing and what we'd like to reinvest in. And then, of course, from a vertical perspective, DeFi is pumping, so that's a really hot topic at the moment. Difficult to find because there's not a lot of information on these tokens and coins, and these businesses effectively, or the business behind them, operation behind them. So quite difficult to do your due diligence. Yeah, I think you need to be slightly active in terms of managing a portfolio. We're not traders, but being active is important. And then, of course, places to invest: Iconomi, Ember, Binance, Luna, Ledger, Exodus. Those are good places to keep the coins. So yes, that's my thinking for today. Just a reminder that Blockchain Africa's, I think it's the biggest blockchain conference in Africa, is coming up 11th and 12th of March, I think it is. So book your tickets now. I'll look forward to seeing you there. And yeah, I quite enjoy doing this stuff. So if anybody wants to hire me for a lot of money to do what I like doing and give you a better understanding of crypto and the market, digital assets market, yeah, I have a fair bit of expertise from doing my masters in digital currencies and immersing myself in the industry over the last 2 or 3 years. So yeah, that's all from me today. If you're looking for African payment solutions, you want to get paid at the checkout as a multinational e-commerce company, please go to africanpaymentsolutions.com and send us an inquiry, and we'll see how we can get you paid across the continent. If you want to hire me, then you can just pop onto my LinkedIn and let me know what you have in mind, and we can see how we can help you with that. So that's all from me. Have a fantastic day. Chat again tomorrow.